there. My name is Spotty. I can't recall how long I've been alive. For many years of my life, it was the same. I looked for food at the shops or in the trash. I lay in the sun and looked for food again. And I found a place to spend the night. Day after day, year after year. Although there was one thing that was different. I had been getting older. I was walking alone along a small path in the suburbs. I came across an empty lot. This lot used to be a gathering place for the homeless cats around here. Not too long ago, it had been circled by some yellow tape. I heard that some rich Chinese real estate developer had bought this place, along with a whole lot of old residents around here. Soon, they would begin to build a brand new shopping center. It didn't really matter to us anyway. There were plenty of spots for the cats. Besides, the cats that used to hang around here had rarely been seen nearby anymore. Most of the cats whom I was familiar with had died in random corners of this big city. Unlike house cats, we had to pay the ultimate price for our freedom. Life in the city was brutal and challenging, and most of us were forced to say goodbye to this world before we even turned 3. The few others, like me, who were fortunate enough to survive more than 10 years could barely walk too far nowadays. Sometimes cats like us might even slip and fall into a toilet when they were drinking from it. As my body kept getting slower, my mind, however, seemed to be getting more active. I had been spending more and more time thinking about my cat life recently, especially about my dear old daddy, and all the lessons that he had passed on to me. Daddy had always been too good to me. Many of the things that he had taught me were still so valuable even now. I used to think that I could stay young forever, but I had reached the same age as Daddy was when he found me. Daddy had mentioned that he used to be a house cat once, and that he was one of the incredibly lucky ones. He was adopted soon after birth by a rich couple and was living a dream life. He never had to worry about food or shelter, and the humans adored him too. Soon the couple had a family with a cute daughter. One day, the male human took Daddy to the park for a walk, and that day he met a breathtakingly beautiful orange tabby. Daddy was immediately smitten. He used every trick in the book to get his humans to take him out for walks just so he could see her. Maybe God had been blessing them, as they were able to get together more and more often. At last, on the edge of the roof of the human's apartment, he and his tabby spent a whole lovely night together, harmonizing the most romantic nocturnes ever known to cats, maybe even humans. While Daddy was enjoying his love life, his home life was abruptly turned upside down. His lovely family of humans collapsed. Endless fights and quarrels, smashed dishes and plates every single day. Daddy's fate took a cruel turn on the 10th day after the male human had left. He was standing next to his bowl, which had been empty for over a week. He meowed in a hurt and hungry voice at the female human in the kitchen. She finally exploded and threw the burning hot pan filled with boiling soup at Daddy. Oh, awful! That was how Daddy lost almost all of his sight. He never saw his orange tabby again. And he never went back to that dreadful place, which he once called home. When he found me in the trash pile at the market, the first thing that he told me was to never trust humans. I used to feel puzzled at how Daddy ended up like this. However, a few years after Daddy had passed away, I accidentally gathered enough pieces to put together the puzzle of his fate. That same night, when Daddy had been enjoying his time with his orange tabby on the roof, his male human was doing the exact same thing with the female human of the orange tabbies in the bedroom of Daddy's home. Maybe it was because the male human had been too careless, or maybe the female human had been suspicious for a while. Or it might even be because of the cat hairs that Daddy and the tabby had left around while they were playing. For whatever reason, the human was soon out of the bag. In the human world, besides being in heat, they had things like morals, laws, relationships, and all kinds of other nonsense. The female human probably was not allowed to kick and scratch the male human, so she turned against Daddy, who didn't have what they called human rights. Sometimes I wondered, if Daddy had never met his orange tabby, would he still hate humans? 2 young male humans were walking towards me. I remembered them. They worked at the police station that I frequented for my drinks. When they started to pass by me, the younger one stopped before the other one with the purple hair did too. I sat down and looked at them, hoping for something unrealistic. The younger human pet my head with his hand, and I could smell the alcohol on his breath. "Lieutenant, are you allowed to have a pet at your place?" "It's too bad that my apartment is not pet-friendly." The older man looked uncomfortable. "Well, I'm not good with this kind of thing." Well, just as expected. When I was a few years younger, I would always put on a cute face and meow at humans who pet me. Now, I knew for sure that even if I sucked up to them, no one would take me home. The two police walked further away from me in the other direction. There were fewer and fewer people on the road. Eventually, there was only me. At the end of the road, under a dim yellow streetlight, I saw a big human and a small one. The adult had a beer bottle in one hand, and his other hand kept hitting the face of the crying child. I kept walking towards them at my own pace. I was just a passerby. In this city, things like this happen all the time. No one would give it a second look, not even a cat. Just when I was about to walk past them, I suddenly realized that a third person had joined the pair under the light from out of nowhere. It was a tall, thin, blonde foreigner in a blue blazer. "Oh, it's Pi." He grabbed the collar of the drunk human. Then he started hitting him in the same way that the drunk had just hit the child in his face. A blonde foreigner. He reminded me of several blonde foreigners who used to live around here. That's because it is. They seem to have disappeared slowly, one by one. I couldn't remember the last time that I had seen any of them. The foreigner pushed the drunk man. I heard a loud noise of a huge collision. A gray truck with its headlights broken drove past me, moving quickly towards the direction of the streetlight. The child stopped crying. The gray truck went past the scene of the fight, without slowing down, and quickly disappeared out of my sight. It was like life itself. No matter how hard one struggled and fought, life just kept going on and on. Meanwhile, we just kept getting older and older. Other than that, nothing ever changed. That being said, this blonde young human was an exception to humankind, at least. I sat down near the child and decided to enjoy this vigilante justice. The child stared blankly at the man being beaten. He mumbled something. 1, 2, 3. I pondered curiously for a while before I finally understood. He was counting the teeth that had been knocked out of the drunk man's mouth. Humans never really understood us. They thought we all liked being petted and tickled, and that all we ever wanted was dried fish and meat. And milk. Sorry. Perhaps similarly, we never really understood humans either. A true understanding between us was probably something that we would never be able to achieve in our lifetimes. I left those 3 humans farther and farther behind me. I kept walking ahead, looking for a place to spend the night. Spotty. Oh boy. Oh, this is gonna kill the kid or something. Or Pi's gonna kill him. We'll see how this goes. Under the streetlight, the blonde foreigner was lying in a pool of blood with his face down. Oh, okay, never mind. Pi got hit. A woman with short hair and 2 dramatic earrings jumped out of the gray truck. She spit out a few curses when she saw the gruesome scene and then hastily got back into the truck. She didn't even notice that a metal box had fallen out of her pocket while she was climbing back into the truck. The woman stepped on the gas, and as soon as she got into the driver's seat, and the truck quickly disappeared out of sight. The drunk man survived after the foreigner had pushed him away. But he had disappeared from under the light with the child and had been gone for quite a while. Blood was still spilling out from underneath his body. I walked closer and saw a big dark scar under the back of his neck. Daddy used to have a similar burn mark on his eyes. He must be another poor soul with a past full of stories. He probably wouldn't survive with an injury like this. Besides, we didn't really know each other, and I was just a homeless cat. There was nothing that I could have possibly done to help. Snow began to fall from the sky. It wasn't the right season to be snowing. If I stayed there any longer, I would freeze to death myself. I left him under the light farther and farther behind me. I kept walking ahead, looking for a place to spend the night, into the wild. Okay, yeah, no kidding, that's a bad one. The foreigner attempted to grab the child before he was hit. Unfortunately, he was too slow. Under the streetlight, the child was lying in a pool of... Oh, no! The kid got hit! The gray truck either didn't notice the accident or decided to ignore it. It didn't slow down one bit and quickly disappeared out of sight. The drunk man stumbled and ran away as soon as the foreigner left him alone. He left his son behind. Or perhaps it wasn't his son in the first place. The foreigner set the child down on the side of the road and ran after the man. Snow began to fall from the sky. It wasn't the right season to be snowing. I felt the face of the child. It was already getting cold. If I stayed here any longer, I would freeze to death myself. I left the child under the light, farther and farther behind me. I kept walking ahead, looking for a place to spend the night. Yeah, we don't want the kid to die either. The gray truck drove into a small ditch only meters away from the three of them. A woman with short hair climbed out of the smoking truck, looking around, and ran away as if there was something urgent. Meanwhile, everything continued under the light uninterrupted. It was like life itself. No matter how hard one struggled and fought, life just kept going on and on uninterrupted. Meanwhile, we just kept getting older and older. Other than that, nothing ever changed. The foreigner was still hitting the man. The drunk man was still begging for mercy. The child stared blankly at them, mumbling something. Humans never really understood us. They thought that all we like blah 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 blah. Blah blah. Kept walking ahead, find a place to spend the night. Quiet. I think this is going to be another one like that last one where there is just no right answer, so we'll leave it here for now. There is more, but I'm going to go ahead and end this episode here for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see more videos from me, then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.